Hey, everybody. We are live with the craziest cast and crew reunion I've ever been a part of. My name is Ash Sevilla. I'm going to be moderating. Over the past couple of weeks, I have collected hundreds and hundreds of your questions and shout outs for the cast and crew of Mass Effect. And for the next about 90 minutes, give or take, we're going to be hanging out with the cast and crew, answering your questions and having a great time. We have an insane group here that we're going to reveal in just a second. First, I want to thank everyone for showing up. This is amazing. And let's go ahead and reveal the masses. My name is Ash Sevilla. I'm going to be moderating over the past couple weeks. Oh, there we go. Are we good? We're live. Yes. Hey, everybody. Yay, we're here. This is crazy. I hadn't heard a little echo for a second. I had echo terror. So anyway, thanks everyone for showing up. This is insane. First, shout out to Jennifer Hale for throwing this all together. Yeah. This is her brainchild, her baby, to celebrate the legendary edition of Mass Effect. I'm going to go ahead and introduce everyone in a second. But first, before I do that, I said it briefly in the introduction, but I wanted to thank everyone watching this live and everyone that's watching this after for being a part of the Mass Effect community. It's a big part of our hearts and our souls at this point in our lives. It's forced me to change careers, forced me to rethink a lot of things about my world and my life. And I know thousands and thousands of you all over the world feel the same way. And this today is just really a big celebration of Mass Effect and the community and the folks that, of course, voice it and are a part of making it. So we're not going to really clap into our microphones, but we're all clapping and cheering. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out. A little bit about myself before I introduce everybody. I'm a video game community manager. I'm a dad. I'm a Mass Effect fan. I'm a big fan of all these guys. And I'm going to go ahead and run down the massive list of everyone here. And then we'll get started and start asking your questions. So first up is Mak Uolterс, who is the project director for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Hey, Mac.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Also a fellow lover of baseball caps, I've heard. Right. So that is, right. I'm in the same boat, sir. Yeah. Next is Caroline Livingstone, the creative performance director. Hey, Caroline. I love Caroline. She's so cool. Next is Kристал МакКорд, the producer of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Hello, Kристал. Yay. We're all silently clapping. Next is Mr. Patrick Weeks, senior writer, killer of characters, heartless destroyer. Mr. Patrick Weeks. Karen Weeks, senior editor, is here. The sweetest person I know. Melani Folknor, lead producer, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Hey, Melanie. So a lot of these guys I've never met before, so this is exciting for me, but a lot of these guys I've known for a number of years, just being a super nerd and going to conventions. So I was saying right before we started, it's like these have become sort of a reunion for me, and I actually get like comfortable when I see them. So it's actually nice to see these familiar faces. Next up, the voice of Commander Shepard, Jennifer Hale.
Half of that voice.
Yes, that's right. And the other voice of Commander Shepard and Vorcha and Blasto, Mr. Mark Meer.
Hello.
There, he's up there. So many, there's so many faces. I can't find you guys in Zoom. This is ridiculous. Fred Tatasciore, who I've never met, but who voices a million of my favorite characters, including Saren. Fred is here.
So glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh, so cool. I love it. Raphael Sabarge is here, the voice of Kaidan.
And I'm unmuted now. Hi.
Oh, there you go. Hey, welcome, welcome. The voice of Ali Hillis, Liara Tassoni, is here.
Hello, Commander. I'm honored to be here today.
Yes, yes. Who got me started doing interviews. My first interview was Miss Ali Hillis. Courtney Taylor, the voice of Jack.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Yay.
Yay.
Keith Farley, the voice of Thane Krios, is here.
I'm over here.
Yeah, there you are,
Hey,
somewhere.
All right.
All right. The voice of Grunt, Steve Bloom, is here.
Straight to the face, Shepard.
I love it. The voice of Sam Trainer, Alex Wilton Regan, is here.
Live from London, there are private messages at your terminal, Commander.
I love it. The voice of Legion, DC Douglas, is here.
I'm bringing the soul, man.
There you go. The voice of Ash Williams, Kimberly Brooks, is here.
Hey, everybody, with all due respect.
You know you're going to have to say it.
I know.
You know you can't escape this without saying it. The voice of Morden, William Salyers, is here.
Greetings.
Hello. And the voice of Tally, Ash Sroka, is here.
I am so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, we're so happy to have you. I had to anyway, you were hard to find, but I found you and we're here.
I'm here.
I'm so excited. And the voice of Joker, Mr. Seth Green, is here.
Don't touch, my bones are very brittle.
Thanks for making it, man. This is so great. So like I said, and of course, behind the scenes, we have Mr. Ryan Green. Special shout out to Ryan Green for making us all look and sound okay. Thumbs up to you, Ryan. You're doing an awesome job. We appreciate you. So like I said, for the next 90 minutes, we're going to be answering your questions, the questions that you guys have submitted on social media for the cast and crew. So thank you guys for submitting those. And at the end, if time permits, we have a bunch of requested line readings from the cast as well. So I sent you guys, I don't know if you got it, but a PDF with a bunch of line readings on it. If you didn't get it, I'll send it again. We have plenty of time, and that's some fun stuff we can do at the end. And that's always sort of a little bit of icing on the cake. So you guys all ready? You guys ready for some questions?
Ready.
Yeah, I see.
Ready, Captain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
let's do this.
All right. So this question is, this is for everyone. How many of you guys have never met each other? How many times is this your first time actually seeing each other in the same space? Have you guys all met at some point?
Yeah, it's one time.
Yeah, at one time. Is this the biggest that's ever happened with the cast?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And none of us have been able to meet Crystal and Mel, which is great. Crystal and Melanie and Ash, Sroka, I've never met you. So this is super cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think amazing.
I think I've physically met everyone except for Ash. Hello, Ash. Good to see you.
Hi, everybody. Jennifer, I think we did a signing together many years ago, like a midnight.
That's why I don't remember.
Allie.
Ash was with us at the when Allie and Kimberly and Jen.
GameStop.
Yeah, GameStop. With the drop for 3.
Yeah, once
that was
I saw
the
that
one sign, like
I had no brain anymore. I was like, oh, zoinks. Yeah.
It was like the
back.
fleetingest, like
We pulled
Ash.
you back to sign.
Yeah.
She was like a Yeti. She like ran through and we were like, wait, that's her. And then I never saw her again.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
Poor Ash finally shows up and gets compared to a Yeti.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm not good with crowds.
I can take it.
Just kidding. Well, thank you all for showing up. This is going to be so much fun. Our first question is for the development team. It's from Biotic X. It says, what advice do you have for new players who are experiencing the trilogy for the first time? Sort of a broad question, but still a good one.
That is a broad question. I mean, I guess pace yourself. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of game. There's a lot there to it. And just, dive in with all the other thing is no wrong choices, right? I think you can get paralyzed with a lot of the decisions that are in here, the characters you want to take with you, who you want to live and die. But ultimately, that's why we get to play a second time if we want. In some situations, there's no right choice.
Except for letting everyone die in the suicide mission. That's a wrong choice. That requires rebooting. I remember playing that for the first time and like running up and slamming my Xbox and be like, I can't do this. And just almost crying to myself. I think a lot of other players experience the same thing. So it's very exciting to see, really so many players. I've actually gotten a lot of message from people that'll be playing the game for the very first time. And it's amazing to really allow them to experience such a, an amazing world for the first time. So really good stuff.
I think one of the
say it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, Patrick, you first.
One of the things that's been really, really cool for Karen and for me has been, it's been long enough since Mass Effect came out that we're actually getting to see our kids play it. They're playing the Legendary Edition, and it's all new for them. And so we're getting to watch them go through it and go, oh, hey, look, Dad wrote that part. Oh, cool. This thing over here. Go be sure to talk to this person.
Go hang out in the elevators. Dad wrote that. But yeah, our youngest was born. Yeah, well, we're grasping and holding on to that as much as we can. But yeah, our youngest was born a few months before the first game shipped.
Oh my
God. He's playing it, and it's really cool. And we've made a group agreement to not go to the romance because that's really awkward with your teenage sons.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good boundary there. I don't play. I suck at it. So I never get to see this. And last night I was like, you know what? So I just started sneaking around YouTube and Twitch and just like jumping into people's live streams and watching them play. I'd make a little comment here and there. And then one guy was like, wait, what? And I was like, bye.
Surprise.
It was fun.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
Really fun. Yeah.
So the next question is for Mr. Seth Green from Toby McDoby. These names are going to be fantastic, by the way. So this for you, Seth, is as someone who has been acting since he was a little kid, what drew you to the character of Joker, and would you ever want to play him again?
Well, what drew me to the character was the whole concept of the game, quite frankly. I like games, and this was one of the most sophisticated mechanics I'd ever heard pitched. And it was such a cool idea for the player to not just be able to play so many different trees of adventure, but also to be able to stack up your reputation and gather important story points that were going to carry all the way through your adventure, even through multiple iterations of it. I just thought that was such a new and exciting idea that I wanted to be a part of the game. And for the character, they really just cast me based on what they agreed was my most recognizable personality, I think. Sort of, you know, down for it and gonna get you there safe,
Super
but also
serious,
gonna give
really
you some
rude
kind
guy.
of smart ass remark and not agree to dance.
Yeah. Amazing. So with Joker, the second part of the question is, if the opportunity ever presented itself, would you ever want to play Joker or a robot version of Joker again?
Sure. I love the character, actually. And if there was some more to expand on it, if the writers had a idea they wanted to explore, I'd be down for that.
That's awesome.
But also, this character is such a fun one. And I'm sure everyone's experienced the same thing. It's a different kind of fan that approaches you about this project because they've spent hours and hours and hours in a very intimate exchange with you that you haven't been a part of, but they have experienced nonetheless. And so whenever anybody approaches me about this game, it's usually like we've fought a war together. I've hugged a lot of strangers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. That's the benefit of it. You get an interaction with fans that you never get as a performer in any other experience.
Yeah.
Seth, you're also a really big fan of NASA and space exploration and science in your personal life. Not that I stalk you or anything, but I know this about you.
I'm pretty out and proud about the space stuff.
There you go. So did Mass Effect in some way inspire you to feel even more passionate about that? Or were you a huge space guy prior to even being a part of Mass Effect?
Oh yeah, I've been a space guy since I was a little kid. I got the reality that human beings were like, I guess if we shoot this and play, then we're in space. That's a staggering accomplishment on any level. So I've loved that and been inspired by that. And then getting the opportunity to see the human beings that are turning the wrench or making the calculations, that's thrilling to me. So I've jumped at it any chance.
It is super cool. I'm totally there with you. Next question is for Ash, not me, the other Ash, from Sheila B. It says, Tally is a fan favorite character. With the state of the world today, with masks and such, do you think her story will be even more impactful now than it was before?
Thanks. That's such a great question. I hope so. I would hope that anything that we're doing here is going to have a positive impact on a bigger level. I think ultimately that's why most of us do what we do, because we hope we reach people in different ways and deeper ways. And hopefully Tali is an inspiration in courage and bravery and standing up for what's right and thinking about the greater good. So I sure hope so.
Yeah, I like that question a lot too, because, all of us for the past year, we've had to experience a little bit of, Tally's predicament, right? With having to cover up fear of, germs and just, I never, when I first played the game many, many years ago, it never really dawned on me that was something that I would ever have to worry about. And now, it's like, wow, the past, year plus, all of us have had to worry and kind of face the same, not the same thing that Tally went through, but a similar experience. So it was a really interesting question. So thank you, Sheila B.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Sheila.
Next question is for the dev team from Beverly. Beverly asks, the trilogy is such a wonderful piece of art and such a joy to play. How was the original idea of Mass Effect even formulated? There's so much lore and history. How was it all developed? So that's going to the way back machine. And again, a very broad question.
Very broad question. It was interesting. We just had a sort of last team meeting, and we got the pleasure of spending it with Greg Zeschuk, who was one of the founders, of course, of BioWare. We invited him to it, and he was regaling us with the stories of the inception of Mass Effect. And it was pretty funny because, you'd imagine this sort of well laid out, drawing boards everywhere of everything. And it's like, no, it was basically just a napkin sketch at a Greek taverna with himself, Ray, and Casey going, yeah, we want to do a space opera. We want to do our own. And then it took off. But, the question about lore, I think, is a great one because the process of that is so organic throughout the course of development. I think a lot of people think you build the world and you tell the stories, but so much of the lore, I find, comes from character development and story development. Like, we will start writing a character. Like, if I'm doing Rex or Garrus in the first one, they're there to really represent the species for the first time to anyone who experiences it, right? And so you'll be writing a story about them, and then you'll be like, oh, I really want to tell this story. Let's add it to the lore. And that's how it builds up over the course of an entire game. And then, of course, we do all the those giant codex entries at the end. But the idea is, if you save those as late as you can, then you can pull from the stories, pull from the characters and the meaningful moments, and then build out the lore from there. But it's ongoing, and it just keeps going. And then the fans take over, and they've got all their ideas, and I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's such the world is so dense in so many wonderful. Patrick, didn't you write a bunch of the old codex entries? Wasn't that one of your first things?
Yeah, I came in after Mac fell down the stairs, and they needed a junior writer to come in for a few months while Mac got back on his feet. And I
fell down the stairs. That's the story it's become. I literally had back surgery from a bad back, but I didn't fall downstairs.
I think I joked last time that Patrick actually pushed you, and this is like how he kickstarted his career.
That has never been proven.
Everyone asks how to get a job in games. It's just like push the senior.
I was just doing, when I came on the first Mass Effect game, I did elevator banter and, little things like that. And it was these little chances and codex entries, and it was little chances to build out the lore. And it was really fun because it was us in a room just going, what do you think these people would say to each other? What do you think a Hanar thinks about this? What do you think the Krogan think about fish? And you would just ask these questions and go, I think they'd say this. Well, great. Well, that's what we're writing. And it was, that was a really, for a first project for me, that was such an amazing experience to be this junior writer, just listening to the world kind of build itself creatively with all these awesome people.
That is so very cool. Very cool. We had another question for Mac while we're talking to him from Ajer Quirshi. I'm going to butcher these names. I apologize. Ajer asks if there was a scrapped game mechanic or idea you wish would have stayed in the original trilogy. Which would it be?
Mechanic. I don't know. I mean, we did try multiplayer in every single version of it, and we only got it to work in 3. But I would say, and this is just super personal and selfish, so I'll say it. So we had all these plots laid out in Mass Effect 1, which we call global plots. So they would literally take you from planet to planet to planet to planet, and they were outside the core sort of critical path, right? And they were these sprawling stories that we got to tell, and we pulled out a lot of really interesting concepts and ideas that eventually did make it into the game, but all of the global plots actually ended up getting cut just for time, right? In the end, sort of thing. So I go back, I have, Visio diagrams and spreadsheets and all the stuff of how all these plots came together, and then we just cut it. But so that's my own personal one, but
stuff happens. Anybody else on the team have any either plot threads or ideas that were scrapped that you're allowed to talk about at this point that you wanted to see in there? It's okay if not. Everyone's like, I'm not talking about this.
Oh, there was the whole Joker romance option.
Yeah, there you go.
I left on the table.
That kind of sort of happens eventually. There's some love in his future, which is good. Which I
feel like he and Jack might hook up. I don't know, just awkward kind of. A lot of swearing. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a volatile chemistry, but it's a chemistry. Yeah. So the next question is from Sean, and this is sort of a fun one. So thanks, Sean. If you all had to take a long distance road trip with 2 squad mates, which squad mates would you go on the road trip with, and why? So I don't know. This is going to be hard because it's a question for 20 people.
I would go with Rex and Grant because at least one of us will not survive the trip, but the stories will be epic.
True.
I would go with Broshep because that's a whole other multiverse option, right?
Mm-hmm.
And probably Joker because we need someone to drive so we can talk.
I'm in that car. Yeah.
I think I'd go with Shepherd and Shepherd because that could get interesting.
Oh yeah, double romance options. There you go. Anybody else have
I'd
any?
like to be the meat in a shepherd sandwich.
Oh no.
It's probably pretty straightforward, but Shepherd and Edie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why people are not choosing Legion because it's like having Siri with you. I don't get it.
See, I wanted to go with Jack and Morden because the drive would never lack for things to talk about at length, quickly, and Jack because you wouldn't pay for the room. Well, you don't know how you'd get the room, but you wouldn't be paying for it.
Very true.
Assuming that all of these people are our squad, I would take Patrick and Karen because then we'd be sure to have the best adventures.
Yes, very clever. Very clever.
I would take Morden because there'd be singing. A lot of road trip songs. And Femshep just to have this thing happen in the room that I get for free.
There you go.
I think I'd be stuck with I think I'd be stuck with Sovereign because I'd want to fuse with the car. You know what I mean?
Very true.
I'm driving now. No, I'm not. Sorry. I thought I was driving.
That's so good. Anybody else have any? Good. Okay, so we have a bunch of shout outs here too. And one of the things I'm going to do for you guys, I do these whenever I moderate. All the questions I get, I'll put into a PDF. So everyone that sent a shout out or a question, I'll just email them out to you guys so you guys can look through them at your leisure. So even if your question doesn't get picked, the cast and the developers still have a chance to read through everything and see all the nice things you guys said, because there's a lot of really great and personal stories that people shared and allowed us to share with you guys. So the first one is from Emma Vicarian. And Emma says, all my life I've been in and out of surgery, getting cancers removed, and generally fixing my body. Since playing Mass Effect and getting my own N7 jacket, I've worn it every time I've needed surgery since. I'm going for surgery number 17 in a few days. And at the age of 25, I'll be proudly wearing my jacket to remind myself that I'm stronger than I know. I'm Commander Shepard, and I've got this. Thank you, Mass Effect and Shepard, for everything.
Emma, my God. We are with you in heart and spirit, and you do have this. You have this a million times over, and I'm going to see you so strong and healthy, and I'm so grateful you're part of our community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Emma, and thank you for sharing that story.
Thank you,
There's
Emma.
a lot of
and I believe that Emma, if it's the same Emma Vicarian, Emma is the one who you may have seen did a lovely drawing of all of us in the style of that famous Oscars selfie. But it was all of us as ourselves, but some of us wearing Mass Effect armor and whatnot. Yeah,
wow.
very,
I love that. That was really good.
I love that fan art.
Thanks,
really, really good. Yeah, thank you, Emma. This next question is from Robot Gobot for Ali Hillis. It says, seeing how Asari live a very, very long time, how open are you to one day maybe reprising your role as Liara?
I mean, I think that's a question that's probably already been answered a million times over at every con I go to. I love that question because I think all of us have had such a great time working for BioWare and helping to put this incredible story together time after time in every game. And she's a character that is very close to my heart. It was such a great opportunity in this particular game to create these characters, because, you know, in some games that we work on, the character's already been created. Sometimes it's already been voiced by someone else. But this was a group effort in that when I first went into the booth to voice Liara for the first time, the only thing I've seen of her was pretty much, I thought of Mac. I'm like a napkin drawing, you know? I just saw this sort of like rendering of her, and we slowly kind of came to the voice and came to the presence. And I'm sure we all have a similar story with our characters, but just to have planted the original seed with everyone here and having it be such a collaborative effort. She's really close to my heart. That's why I created a flat Liara. So she's going to go with me everywhere now.
I thought that was like a background Zoom animation.
Isn't that cool? No, I got crafty.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's a good question. I would love to bring Liara back anytime. I mean, hey, she can live a really long time, guys.
That is true. Very exciting. Well, I think that's the answer everyone was hoping to hear. No one wants to hear you say never again. This one is for the whole cast and Caroline. It's from Casey A. It says, when you record voice lines, it's often alone. How do you get it into your brain that I'm talking to an alien and this is normal? So what's it like actually getting into character in the booth and sort of living in this entire world? Like, how challenging is it also to direct such a robust and well researched universe? How do you actually do it?
Well, I'd say that Caroline and our directors, they are vital to that. Like, Caroline, you really help the pretending, let me tell you. And
well, that's the thing. I think that people who do what Caroline does are so vital to the quality of every single game out there. We go in blind, and we don't, 85% of the time, I mean, it used to be 95% of the time, now it's 85% of the time, we don't get the script ahead of time. So we're walking in blind and we see those lines in front of us. We do it a few times and it's on your PlayStation, it's on your system, it's on your computer, it's ready to be played. And so Caroline, what she does is makes us gives us the performance that we have. She gives us context, she gives us specificity. And for me, like, she's critical to what came out on the other side. Caroline, I mean, what was it like for you having to guide all of us?
It's a lot of content, but this group of people are extraordinary. We were lucky to have such an extraordinary cast in front of us, and every session, was new and challenging for sure, because we, sometimes for me, it's like, I'm not 100% sure what's happening in this scene, but I'm guessing this is what's happening. So let's just commit completely to this choice. And, there were some times where we had to go back and fix things, but it was a labor of love. It is, I'm tearing up right now thinking about it. I'm remembering my last session with Jen and just sobbing and sobbing. She was the last session. It was very moved that I got to work with these incredible people.
It was extraordinary.
Sorry, I was all over the place. I went all over the place.
No, it's true. I've told this story before. One of my favorite moments was with you, Caroline, where we were recording the, I'm not going to give anything away, but some of the stuff from late in the game with Garrus. And there's a moment. And I went to say the lines. And for those of you who haven't heard us discuss this before, like, when you're working in a film or on TV, you have a set and you have physical objects around you and you have human beings with you and you work off of them and you interact with them. And when you do what we do, it's kind of like a version of acting on steroids, because I have to invent my imaginary friend in front of me. I have to invent what just happened before. I have to remind myself that there's stuff going off and it's crazy right now, but it's not, or someone's going to get us, like all those elements have to be in place. So it becomes, though, when you do it a few times, it becomes this habit and you just drop in, right? And then you just trust it. And when you've got somebody like Caroline and material like this, it's like, oh, it's the greatest trust fall in the world, right? But I remember we were recording the stuff between Shepard and Garrus, and I came across this line and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was in tears and I was like, Shepard does not cry. So it took me a second and I was like, and I backed up and I took another run at it and I got it out and I wasn't all emotional. It was in there, but it was like stuffed down as it should have been. And I finished the line and there's this rhythm, because Caroline was in Edmonton and I was in LA, and Caroline, no matter what was happening, she was always right there going, okay, making her selects and talking to the engineer. And this time I finished my take and I hear this. was like, did we lose her? Did we lose the line? Did Skype crash? What's happening? And then I heard, yep, hold on. I got her.
This is waterworks, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think it can be underscored either how important it is to have someone doing what Caroline did for us. You look at the amount of material that's coming through on a game like this, the amount of writers that are giving input, the amount of actors. I mean, this is a small sample of the actors that were, on the game. There are different personalities across the board. And to have someone that can literally like run the room, pick takes, manage actors, it is herding cats on a level that is unbelievable. And so I just want to give a special shout out because voice direction and everything that goes around with it is a mastery that very few people have. And I'm extremely grateful.
Same.
I want to say there's an extra added
true conducting, it really is.
And there's an extra added challenge as an actor when you're doing this. And it's the first time I ever came across the branching dialogue.
Yeah.
Normally when we're working on a script, we're working from page 1 to page 100. And not to mention that between these 3 games, there's probably page 100,000. But you work to page 5 and then you go back to page 2 and you play that branch a little differently. And then you get to page 5 and you go back to page 3.5 and you go to page 4.5. And then there's 3 branches off page 4.5 that also lead to page 5 before you're going to the next scene. So the skill and the fun, the joy of it was to be able to go back and play a scene in a different way with a different writing, with the different outcomes. And that was not only a challenge, but also a real treat. And so to all the writers who sort of dreamed up how this build your own adventure plays out, you have my undying respect. It was an amazing treat to be able to play these scenes over and over and over in different ways. And to live and to die, it's unreal.
Hey, I had a question. Did everybody, from an egghead technology standpoint, did we all work with Veda?
Yes.
Yeah, but for those of you who don't know, actually, hey, someone from the team, explain Veda.
There you go.
Veda is the closest. It's a system that we use to record the dialogue. That is the closest way of having people in the booth together. So you can hear the line that someone else has done in that scene, or you set the tone for the scene. But it's all digital. And really, I really pushed for that. I just want to say I pushed for that because the amount of paper that was wasted on. I think Mass Effect 1, I couldn't bear it. So I really pushed for this digital system called Veda. But yeah, that sums it up. It's a screen and the actor sees the line and they see the red line, which means record, and they go into record.
Well, and importantly, I mean, very often, and it was a godsend for me, and thank you, I actually got to hear a cue from Jen or Mark, or like I actually got to hear the line that preceded mine. And given that this is an amazing cast, that really helped my performance. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And it was cool. Even sometimes when we had to re-say a line or do it again, a lot of times, Caroline, you would insist on going back and, let's hear that line before it again. And I really appreciated that because, yeah, just like Bill said, us being able to bounce off each other helps make it more real. And this incredible dialogue we were working with, and I'm sure everybody here who works on, all kinds of other projects in the entertainment industry can relate that this, for me, was the most real acting experience on a game I had ever had. The writing being so good, them fleshing out these characters and these relationships really being conditioned. And then at the same time, Caroline helping us through being able to hear each other and really painting the scene. It's like we're acting in front of a green screen and she's telling us what's going on back there and we're just going.
I I think that's like the secret sauce for any dev, upcoming devs out there, people in the business. There's a magic that happens when you get to interact with a person. I think, am I remembering right, Caroline, that I think I was always early in on Veda. So I had Veda just 2 times that I remember, a little bit of Alice of Liara stuff and the scene with Anderson toward the end, like those 2 times. And it was, oh my God, it was amazing. Every other time I was like, okay, I'm first. All right. But that magic of having us work together and record together, I've been doing it a little bit during the pandemic, even with this crazy tech setup. If somebody's in another city, I've still been able to do the scene with them. And it just elevates it. It's that magic that you get when you don't know. There's a little unknown in there and it lifts it up.
Yeah, the plus of that is that just from a scheduling standpoint, it's nearly impossible to get people together, even during the pandemic in our own home booths. So that system, I forgot until everybody mentioned it, but it really, we're all very good at pretend. We're all really good at imagination, but there's also only so much you can do, which is why you need great material and why a great director is critical. But that extra bit of being able to hear the person you're performing with, or have someone who's already set the level, maybe to the detriment of the person who has to set the tone. But it was incredibly beneficial. It really, really helped. I think Trisha and I only got to be in the booth together 1 time, and it was for like a piece of promotional video that we were shooting at the same time. But we actually got to record a scene together. We were like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. It was great, even though I needed to stand on a stool.
Oh, she's a
All
tall.
about reacting. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, she's a tall woman.
She's the best.
Mm.
Yeah,
but I'll just jump on the thank you all of you who put this together for making it so much easier for us, and then everybody who got on the Veda before me. Thanks for that.
I mean, as a huge fan, it's also one of the first games that the performances really stood out to me when I was first playing the original Mass Effect, and I was just like, God, this is like brilliant performances by the whole cast. And it really started making me, as a person who's just consuming a ton of video games and talking about them all the time, really pay attention to who is in my games now. And now a lot of people really pay attention to who's in the games, which stars are together. And I think it really did so much for voice acting in the game space. So I'm giving you guys applause for that, because I think it really, it kind of set the bar high, but also people really started to admire the performances and all the work being done. So really good stuff.
Yeah, allowed everybody to react appropriately too. You know what I mean? Just to be able to respond, and that's such a huge part of acting, is being able to be in realistically the same space together.
Yeah.
Well, and even as an actor, this opportunity to do this kind of material in games just didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never. I've never had for me, I never had a villain part that was complicated like that in a game. Never before. It was really interesting.
And the relationships, right? I mean, that's the thing that I always go back to, which is I find so fascinating, is that Mass Effect brought more women into gaming than any other game before it. And obviously just the writing is what gave us so much ballast and the complexity of those relationships, which, even in a dark room all by yourself with someone behind bulletproof glass, and of course, Caroline there to kind of help guide the way. But those relationships were really kind of such a North Star, and really set this apart from so much kind of running and shooting and gunning and killing, which is, fine on any given day. But it was, again, the relationships are kind of what kept it so grounded.
Ralph, you just reminded me of something. What I noticed just in the times that I got to be around, in the before times when I was around people and fans and stuff, was that there was a huge hunger among women in the gaming world for something they could really jump into and sink their teeth into. They were starving for something that fed them what they deserved and needed. I'm curious about, from the dev team, where did this decision happen to make the male and female player identical and to break that barrier like that? Like, who did that? I want to thank you. That come to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would probably go back to the core team, like Casey, Preston, Drew, the lead writer at the time. I mean, I think that was part of that, role-playing has that role-playing games traditionally have that. We want you to feel like you can step into a role. That's the whole point, right? I want to imagine something and then I want to be that, right? And so having the shepherds on parody, I think, was just, key to that. And, I think there's probably more we could have done to it, but it was great. I know as a writer, when I was writing for the shepherds, right, I was able to, it took a while. I think every writer, it takes you a while to get into it, but eventually I just had this sort of sense of, these great commonalities between, whether it was male shep, female shep, it didn't matter. You were a great, protagonist, period, full stop. Right. And that's where it was. And then, you get to put in the fun, romances or different options for male or female or something like that. But otherwise just a strong character first and foremost.
Yeah. And it was so inclusive. Like the inclusiveness of this feels so intentional, Yeah.
Yeah. At a time where people weren't even really using that word. I mean, you look back when Mass Effect came out, I don't think I had ever heard anyone use the term inclusive. And now I think it very much did set the bar for inclusivity and just there's so much love and respect between the characters. And it's just, I've said it before, but it's just so well written. It's just a beautiful space opera. Like as a fan of sci-fi, if you look at Mass Effect, you're just, you slack-jawed. Like, what is this amazing, universe that's been created? So, hats off to everyone. Love you guys.
It was Ash. I was just going to say it was a literal game changer. Yeah. I've been waiting to say that for a bit. Game changer. See what I did there? Sorry, I've been waiting to give that one. That was good. All the way from London. That's good. I'm done. Bye.
I think another one though. This is another one where I'll call out Caroline, make her uncomfortable. It's like she often would come to us as writers and challenge us and say, do you really need another male character to do this? Why are we recording another male character for this? As an example, right? And she pushed that very early and to the betterment of everything that we created.
And to start a whole revolution in gaming,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that one thing that as a little baby writer coming onto Mass Effect 1, what really struck me as someone who had played a lot of games was like, oh, and now I get to help write words for them. How awesome, was just how big it was and how huge it was, and how if, again, anything you wanted to have Shepard do, you had to make sure it worked for male Shepard and you had to make sure it worked for female Shepard. And, as much as it's really nice hearing people praise the writers, for me it was such a huge effort. Like Karen and Cookie and all of the editors across the trilogy, making sure that Shepard sounded consistent. Because as opposed to because we had a large writing team and writers came and went, and I think Mac is the only one who really had a significant writing contribution in all three games, but it always sounds like Shepard because of the editors and people like Mel and Crystal, people who came in and helped everything actually happen, because when you're making a universe there are so many assets. There's like, hey, we need, what do Solarians wear? We have to put that in the database and figure out what they do. What does the Hanar voice processing sound like? And there was so big and so many things that I, as little baby writer, was just like, I'm going to write some words and then magic will happen and then it's a game. And realizing that it's like, no, it's a process of getting, hundreds of people pointed in the same direction, all believing that this is something worth doing.
Yeah.
And and then later seeing that go, later seeing someone going in for surgeries using this thing we were all part of to gain strength from. That is just amazing to know that we helped on that.
One of my favorite stories, I think I was at a convention and I met a woman, I want to say Chicago, and I believe I recorded this and emailed it to Caroline to share with everybody. I met a woman who had a stroke and she was only in her early 30s. And she had lost her dexterity. And one of her PT people said, pick a game, get a controller, learn to work the controller, you'll get your hands back. And she picked Mass Effect and it literally brought her hands back. I was like,
it's amazing. It's great. And there's so many stories like that. And we had a lot submitted to. Ash, I saw you, were you going to say something earlier?
Oh, I was just going to kind of reiterate that I think the answer to this question, which is broad and great to just think about, is that we don't do it alone. you know, we never do it alone. We need each other. We need everybody. We need everybody. And I was also just going to say, in talking about the writing, I also don't remember, Caroline, you probably remember better than I do, but I don't think I got to use it very many times, because I remember, I think once or twice when you were like, we have so-and-so in the scene. And it was like this huge, exciting present, like not the usual. And, but in all those other sessions, you know, like Keith, you were saying, getting to go back and do it so many different ways, I think was this gift of like rounding out these characters in such a way that, you know, by the time you come back in, you have such a full person. And these amazing writers have given us just so many aspects of the personality to play with. So you do kind of just step right into it because the material is there. And so those giving like those extra, you know, all that going back and having all the different avenues for me was such a gift as an actor, because it just rounded out this full person and all these different possibilities for her that then you get to pull from in all the different scenes, because you know that's how she is this way and that way. And so just thank you to everybody.
Like you're playing an actual person, right?
Yeah.
I'm struck by this, listening to this conversation, like the leadership and the vision required to keep all these elements on track in this phenomenally like impactful and meaningful and successful way is astonishing to me. Like someone had to keep this train, all the different pieces of this train going in the same direction, consistent and at this level of quality the whole time, which is years. It's like, it blows my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Did somebody ask the question? I'm not sure if they did or didn't, because I'm in a Moderna haze, but how many artists worked on this, as in all the cool stuff? How many like people altogether would you say through the entire series?
Oh, hundreds for sure. Yeah. Across all three.
Thousands,
I mean,
probably.
Yeah, our team, internal teams ranged anywhere from probably 250 to 350 throughout the original trilogy. And that doesn't include a lot of your partners, like your QA teams who are doing stuff. And of course, all the voice actors. And of course, there's then the localized versions of the voice acting and the translation teams and everything. So it's so many people involved at all steps. Like it's incredible. Like one of the fun things about the Legendary Edition is we left all the original credits as is at the end of each individual title. Plus, you know, we have our new ones. And I mean, it's a good, 5-6 minute for each one. Probably longer, I think 8 minutes, maybe, it just goes on and on. Right.
Yeah. Having worked in games for a little while now, the idea that they exist at all is baffling to me. There's a billion moving pieces and all these artists working in unison to create something magical. And still, having worked in the space myself, I'm awestruck by what everyone does. And it's really a pretty magical, beautiful thing that a game can be created at all from so many collective imaginations, like working in unison. It's pretty spectacular. So
it's creating in 5 dimensions.
Yeah.
I mean, you're writing about 15 different outcomes with different relationships, and depending on how the players play, it's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy.
Well, the coolest things though is that the audience feels that, like any fan of this property enters it wherever they enter it, and immediately is struck by how dense, thought out, prepared, and planned the entire universe is for them.
Right.
It's the world building is, you could spend your entire game just reading codex entries and have a fantastic time just learning about this. The depth of the universe is, it's almost inexhaustible.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal a quick question, even though I'm on this side and not out there. I just want to know, how was it for the new devs coming onto this? Like, how did you guys feel? And did you play before? And did you and I might be stealing someone's question, but I'm so curious to know your experience.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, when you join BioWare, and you get into this Mass Effect universe. I remember the first time I got to go to PAX, and just like the amount of love for the series and the fans, just, I was like, okay, I knew this was big, but like, I didn't know it was big. Like, it is unbelievable, right? And so working on the Legendary Edition, there was this infectious excitement, like starting. Like, as we're starting the project, there's always excitement, of course, we're making new games, but like the fact that we kind of get to dig in and kind of see, you know, the trilogy and kind of bring it back to life and really just be a part of that, like just to be a part of it was so exciting.
I came on while ME3 was in production, and to me, it was just like, I don't know, I had like a 3 or 4 year honeymoon period with BioWare, and like every day was magical. Just like going to work was magical. Everybody I work with is magical. Like it was this amazing experience. And so, I guess what Crystal said too, just coming to doing a Legendary Edition, I'm getting really emotional today too. It was just kind of like revisiting that, because for me, I'd played Mass Effect before I came to BioWare, and so there's one very epic tally scene in Mass Effect 3, and one of my first meetings was getting to go into a cinematic review where that was the scene that we were looking at, and it was just all so mind-blowing and kind of everything coming together as one. And now this Legendary Edition, it was just like this great reunion, and it had that kind of magic feeling to it, because everybody there was so much love for it already. So I guess I don't know how many times I said magical there, but it's
a lot of magic.
Very magical.
But it's true, like just like you were saying, like we do these cinematic reviews. Well, on Legendary Edition, we'd have an hour or two every day where the team comes together, we play the game. And in those reviews, a lot of the devs who had worked on the original series would just like tell these stories, right? And that was really fun to kind of hear all the inside stories of the creation. Oh yeah, when we made this, or did you know this? And it's really fun to kind of just be a part of that and like hear all of those stories come back.
That's so fantastic. You know, and you're talking about all the magic, and I think the game released at a perfect time where all of us, meaning society in general, sort of needs a little bit more magic right now. And I think, you know, perfect timing. We all need a little bit extra love. We all need some magic. We all need some space. So let's enjoy the trilogy. But yeah, I mean, so many thanks from all of us for you guys, you know, putting this Legendary Edition out. I haven't gotten a chance to play yet, but I'm dying to. I'm like, as soon as this is over, I'm like, unplug, go play. So we have a question from Loser Fruit, and this is for everybody. So this is another big question. It says, during the last N7 day reunion, they all shared beautiful and emotional crying stories. I would love to hear some funny stories about development or voicing. I want to hear bursting out in laughter, because there are plenty of moments of laughter throughout the trilogy. So do you guys have any particularly funny moments, either from the workplace, from the booth, fan interactions, anything crazy?
I have an easy, silly one to get the ball rolling, which was, I did not realize that Alex Wilton Regan could do accents. And I remember this. coming in, and I was listening in the booth, and there was an Alliance soldier who was complaining about the gear she'd been given, and I said, "Wow, that's really good. Who is that?" And the voiceover producer said, "That's Alex, Patrick," because she wasn't doing the British voice; she was doing California voice, and it was amazing. And she told Alex, and then Alex roasted me later for not recognizing her voice, because I am the kind of person where if you put on Groucho Marx glasses, I do not recognize it. Apparently I'm that way for voices as well. Alex just disappeared into it. And so never let me hear the end of California Alex successfully fooling me.
Can you do it, Alex?
I kind of want to hear it. Just
I want to hear it.
Biggest compliment. It was like totally like, I mean, God, it was like the biggest compliment ever. You know, I mean, to like kind of pull that off in front of Patrick.
Who's talking right now? Who's talking? Who is it?
I love it. I love it.
I'm freaking out right now. Oh my God.
But also, I can add to this, right? So I come on as like Sam trainer, and I get a bit of her backstory, and like I get a kind of vague sense of what's happening. And as the storyline progresses, there's different paths between femme shep and male shep for trainer. And Caroline's like yeah. So then she pulls out her toothbrush, and she's trying to get like this toothbrush bought, and I'm like, what? Sorry, a toothbrush? And obviously it's funny now because everyone knows that Sam's thing is her toothbrush, which is major. And Caroline's like, yeah, you've got to like flirt over the toothbrush. And I'm like, who wrote that? What, a freaking toothbrush? Are you kidding me? Anyway, I was wrong, and it worked very well, apparently, because we all know the end of the story. But yeah, that was quite funny.
Hygiene can be very sexy, Alex.
I know, darling. No, I believe me, I know. But it was that first day of recording the toothbrush. I was like, really, guys? Have we thought about this? It's not that sexy.
Oh, dental hygiene is sexy.
Yes.
Yes, it's
very, very sexy.
It is indeed.
You are telling it to a Brit, though. No, I'm kidding.
It's true.
DC.
Now we're there.
Wow, gloves are off.
Hey, if you really,
Their healthcare
really
system
wanted
doesn't
to
cover
roast her.
dental. That's really all it is. And it turned into a horrible joke over the decades. So I apologize. So I did have a quick story. I think the first time I met Ali Hillis and Jen was at a convention for a Mass Effect panel, and my first Mass Effect panel too, I think. And it was just the three of us. It was kind of a small con. And they asked if Legion, they didn't ask, we were all on the panel, but this is how I embarrassingly met them, is that somebody asked if Legion could dance, like could he do the robot? And of course I can't dance. And I said, no, he can't do the robot, but he can twerk. And then they wanted to see it. And so the first time I ever twerked was in front of Ali Hillis and Jennifer Hale. And it's on video, and you can find it on YouTube.
Oh, man.
And he's never stopped twerking.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Out there.
Made a career of it, right?
Twerk from then on out. He is now twerk.
That's amazing. Anyone else have any silly stories?
I have a silly, this is kind of a cute story that I think most of you will identify with, just with, you see the range of players you get. And there was a period of time where I'd meet folks and they had such an emotional reaction to, the scenes with Saren and like certain things that happen at the end, without doing any spoilers for anyone who haven't played yet. But it was always so big, and everyone's saying what a badass he is and all this stuff. And and it was a big deal. And I just remember about a 12-year-old kid coming up to me like, oh yeah, I killed you. Really? It was just, and I mean, he's probably 30 now, but I'm just saying, it was just like hilarious. Just like the ease of like, oh yeah, all that was great. Yeah, I know you were pretty easy to, I was like,
I love meeting folks like that at conventions too, because the other assassin that I play is Kellogg in Fallout 4. So I do get people who come up to me and say like, oh my God, I love you so much. And then I fucking killed you.
That's what happens.
And the other one was the first time I met Jen. We were at a meeting together and we'd never met before. And I went up to her afterwards and I was like, hey, it's really, really great to meet you. I know you don't know me, but we made out in a video game.
Definitely had some awkward conversations at weddings and things like that, where it's been, before the bride is walking down the aisle and I'm sitting there, like, oh, this is so wonderful. And somebody like leans over and is like, psst, you Jack from Mass Effect. And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're like, nice to meet you. I just had sex with you. I'm like, oh God, Jesus. Can we just get this woman down the aisle and get, come on, like, give me a couple more glasses of champagne. But I also, oh, sorry. I also was in a convention in New Zealand, and I went to dinner with a couple of people from Game of Thrones, one of whom is a Kiwi and the other one's quite famous in England. And there was like we're going to this restaurant, and like it's kind of amazing. It's like, like the homeless guy on the streets like waking up, and because they're national figures, and so everyone's making this huge deal about it. We go and we sit down, and people in the restaurant are like turning around and being like, you know, that's the girl from Game of Thrones. That's the girl from Whale Rider. And I'm sort of feeling like, you know, I'm just, you know, here, nobody. And I look around in the restaurant, and there's just one guy in the corner, and he's got an N7 shirt on. He's just looking at me, and he's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, I got one. I love you guys.
It is so reassuring when you go someplace and you see that N7, right? It's like, there's your people, right?
Okay, I have a question for the cast members, because I don't know if Jennifer Hale has done this to all of you, or if it's just that she does it to the devs. I don't know, show of hands, if Jen has ever made you do push-ups.
It's just you guys.
Okay,
wow, it's just you, Patrick.
Wow, so apparently
it's just us. You'll know the trend. It's the devs that need the push-up.
You know what you need? Okay, we need to get your energy levels up. We need to kind of clear everything out. We need, you know, get the chakras aligned. Let's just drop and do 10 right now. It'll make you feel so much better. And
she knows my arms are made of glass. We're not going to do that.
She'll fix your neck and clear your chakras, but never. No, that was.
Yeah. One of my favorite editing files that I ever had was a Mass Effect file, and it was before Seth was coming in for a session, and we got to get all the Joker lines ready to go. And I opened up this file, and it was just 25 lines of the word shit over and over and over again. And I was like, this file is perfect. I don't need to do anything to it. It's great. Have fun.
I felt like I had a lot of really fun things to do on these games. The thing I remember the most, didn't we do like a track that's 60 seconds of laughing, like escalating, building, laughing, right? And we were like, oh, what if this just lasted the whole time? And I don't know about for every other actor, but for me, getting into a laughing fit is kind of like getting into a crying fit, right? It takes the same level of commitment, and you start to follow a path until suddenly you're like hysterically, uncontrollably laughing. Yeah. But it is the same as crying. So I remember looking through the glass, and I'm in it at this point. I'm like built deep into the like, ha, 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 and somewhere in there. And I make eye contact, and I can see from the other side of the booth, and they're like,
sure.
Like, that's plenty. We got it. Like, that's plenty. We got it. And I was like, okay.
Taking the Joker very seriously. Good stuff. So I want to make sure that we have time for some line readings, because we have a little bit more than 30 minutes left. I did send you guys a PDF with some lines. If you got it, let me know. If not, I can just drop some into the chat here, if that's easiest. And we'll do that for a bit. And if we blow through those, we'll go back to some questions, because we still have a ton of questions. This could have been a 6-hour long Zoom chat. I know nobody could do 6 hours, but it really easily could have, because there's so much to talk about.
We could do 4 hours.
There
Only
we go. 4 hours. Yeah,
it's a 4-hour limit.
Yeah, there you go. Before we all start getting swampy and
That's right. Before our clarity and elocution goes in. Yeah.
I lose Alex.
Let's see. Seth, do you have the Joker lines in front of you, the PDF I sent your guys' way?
Drop them in the chat.
But maybe could you drop it in the chat?
I can do that right now.
All right.
Here we go.
I think the craziest thing that Mark and I had to deal with was how many times we had to say, I should go.
Oh, yeah. I should go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we hear that all the time.
But we also, Caroline and I tended to use that as shorthand. When I needed to go to the bathroom, I would just stop a line and go, I have to go.
Perfect.
All right. Whenever you're ready, Seth. We're going to do some lines, just some fun line readings that you guys suggested. So thank you for sending these our way. And thanks to the cast for performing. This is so fun to see.
Hey, which Mark, you want to take this one, or you want to?
Sure. Yeah. Let's trade off on Shepard's.
Sounds perfect. Okay.
So I can. So this is number 1. Yes.
Yeah. Number 1.
It's in the chat.
Let's start with number 1, as is traditional. Seth, you all good to go?
Yes. Are we reading together? Do you guys have different lines than I have, or is it just this Shepherd line?
It's just Shepherd Joker.
Yeah. There's a couple of little Shepherd interjections there, but this is all about Joker. So let's make sure you're set up.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry.
Caroline, can you count us in?
Yeah, in action.
Good job.
Good. Look, you remember to zip up your flight suit on the way back from the bathroom. That's good. I just shot us halfway across the galaxy to hit a target the size of a pinhead. So that's incredible. Well, I can see where this is going. You did a background check. So I'll tell you what I told Captain Anderson. You want me to fly this ship? I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best goddamn pilot in the whole alliance. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my life, I earned every single one. They weren't even given to me as charity for my disease.
You're sick?
Oh, you mean you didn't know? Oh. Crap.
So good. Yay. That's so fantastic. Thank you guys so much. Losing my nerdy mind over that. Love it.
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege. Thank you so much. Allie, do you have yours? Did you get that?
Here.
All right. So these are just some very wonderful Liara lines.
Yeah. Hey, Caroline, can we hear you in action?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the script, so so I'm gonna fly by the seat of my. It's an intense moment. You've just come from a battle, and you're debriefing, and you have some very important things to say.
Amazing. I'll make this simple. Either you pay me, or I'll flay you alive with my mind. Okay.
It's so weird how you can just turn that voice on. So quick 2-second anecdote. The first time I interviewed Allie was like a decade ago at this point, and she did that halfway through the interview. And it was my first interview, and I literally fell out of my seat and was just like drool was coming out of my mouth. I was like, I didn't know she could just turn on Liara like that. It was insane. Anyway.
I'm sorry, Commander. I didn't mean to freak you out. All right, here we go, Caroline.
Do I have to come up with another scenario? that scenario really clicked, by the way. You've arrived at the Normandy. You're in the Normandy, and Shepherd has come for a visit, and you have this to say. Also very important.
Always very important. Okay. I have intel of the entire galaxy at my fingertips. Give me 10 minutes and I could start a war.
So good.
Cool.
A little bit of the dark Liara this time. Love it. Next up is some Thane stuff. So Keith, I'm going to drop it in chat too, just from now on, if Caroline wants to look in chat.
For Caroline, yes.
Yeah.
Really, just you are lying in bed with Shepherd, and really have some things to express of great importance. Again, it's important.
The universe is a dark place. I'm trying to make it brighter before I die. The body is not our true self. The soul is. Soul and body work as one in a whole person. When the soul is weakened by despair or fear, when the body is ill or injured, the individual is disconnected, no longer whole. Please pass the mozzarella sticks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, dropping this one in chat. Next up is Morden and Shepherd.
I've got a question about this one. Is that last line complete or cut off?
I think it's cut off, actually.
Oh, is it cut off?
It's the famous line.
I was
That's
copy
why I
paste.
asked. All right, I got it.
All right, good.
Would love to have run tests on seashells.
Rookie mistake. Here we go.
No worries. Act 2. No, take 2. Would love to have run a test on seashells.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong.
Oh,
Everyone glare at Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick. Were you just having a bad day when you wrote that, Patrick? Did you just like step on a Lego, went right between the toes, and you're like, I'm just writing this?
Oh, it's not Patrick's pain. He just likes to inflict emotional pain on
That's
others.
right. That's right.
Far and wide.
That's right.
It's a gift. It's a gift.
All right. Next, we have some Ash lines.
Ash. I love how you used to call me Ash, Caroline. Like Ash. Get me in the character. Can you do your thing, please?
Sorry, I didn't hear. Did you say something, Ash?
Yeah. Yes, I was asking you to do your thing.
Oh, this is a really important moment. So just take it from the top and take it slowly and really let it land.
It's a deep question. It really is. Okay. Why is it that whenever someone says, with all due respect, it really means kiss my ass?
It's so good. I've heard you do that so many times, and it's always just warms my heart.
I love that. I've incorporated into my, normal
life,
everyday life. Yes.
Yeah, as it should be.
Nothing like a nice, relaxing stroll on the beach, blasting bad guys with my boomstick.
Yay! So good. Next are some Saren lines. I'll go ahead and drop those in chat right now too.
Hello. Thank you once again for bringing me back from the dead. Caroline, questions, I take it something very important it is, yes?
It's crucial. It's critical. This is a critical moment.
I feel like I've drank the Kool-Aid a bit. You see, the relationship is symbiotic, organic and machine intertwined, a union of flesh and steel, the strengths of both, the weaknesses of neither.
So good.
You're very kind. I will continue. Something very serious is going on here. They believe sovereign to be some kind of god, the pinnacle of their own evolution. But the reaction of their deity is most telling. It is insulted. Sovereign does not desire the pitiful devotions the Geth hurl at it. They are just tools, and no amount of belief on their part will change that. But as tools, they are useful. They will survive the coming invasion. If organic life is to survive, we must also prove we are useful. We must work with the Reapers.
So good.
Did you just call us a tool?
I'm saying we need to be the tools. Understand? Look at my blog. I have a blog. Never mind. MySpace? No.
MySpace. I miss it.
I have a Friendster account.
Friendster. Even better. I miss them. Next is Caden and Shep having dinner together.
Lovely. I just noticed, Raphael, on I think your third line, it looks like my line is also okay. You spotted that, right?
Right.
Oh,
So
did it mess up?
after no, and then you've got, I don't think so.
Oh, my bad.
Cool. All righty. Caroline, this dinner,
Just keep the pace up, and the dinner was rich, so you're feeling a little like a little uncomfortable, maybe a little bloated.
Okay, so is it bloated logie or bloated sick?
Well, bloated, like you gotta move through this conversation quickly, so as not to insult Caden.
Okay, all right. Is this going to be an explosive situation or?
Potentially, I'm not sure quite yet.
I'm not talking emotionally. I'm talking gastrointestinally.
We could get there, but we don't know. We don't know.
All right. So that's
see where we land by the end.
That's
going to be gruesome.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That was great.
Still waiting for the botulism to kick in.
I thought it was pretty good.
I'm messing with you, Kay. Can I call you Kay?
No.
I didn't think so. See? Sensitive.
Yeah, or Maybe you're being an ass.
Major, did you just call your CO an ass?
No, I called my friend an ass. Talk about sensitive.
Yay. So good. So good. Hopefully everyone at home is cheering because we all can't clap into our mics, but we want to clap, I promise.
That was our Veda-like experience, actually.
Yeah, it was. It was.
In action, right.
There you go. Home Veda. Next is a highly requested Shepherd line. I probably got 20 people asking to hear this one, so.
Here we go. Oh, hell, Garrus, you were always ugly. Slap some face paint on there and no one will ever notice.
Love it. Love it. All right. Next, we have some Tally lines versus Tally solo, and then we have Tally and Shep.
Oh, perfect. Just want to hear everybody else. Does anyone want to do Tally?
No.
Caroline?
I think you really have to tap into the darkness here.
Oh.
And add a layer of purple.
Okay. Deep purple?
Yeah, the deepest. The deepest.
Okay. After time adrift among open stars, along tides of light and through shoals of dust, I will return to where I began. Kila Selah.
Hey, people are losing their minds at home.
And then I'd say, Carolyn, is that how we, is it at early days? Can we just hear Kila Selah?
Kila, I remember that.
Next is Shepherd and Tally.
I think this one's me, and because the next one up is you and Trainer. So I think,
right.
Yeah. And let me just get the pronunciation guide up here. Ilos. Oh, no, okay. All right. Good. All right. So let's see here.
Oh, wait, I'll do that for you, Mark. Engineer, press the button. Ilos.
That's really good. Ilos.
Caroline, would you like to set this scene for us? I think Tally's drunk here, isn't she?
Yes. Drunk. Not belligerent, though.
Not belligerent. Okay.
No.
Excellent. Okay, Ash, you all set to go?
All good.
Good. Other Ash, are you all set to go?
To me, Ash.
Tally, are you okay?
Yep. You want to see my tattoo?
I don't think you have a tattoo, Tally.
It's a hologram. Omni tattoo. Omni-tat. Omni-two. Under the suit. You know, for me. You want to know what it is? You want to know? It's a pretty bird made of rainbows. It is flying out of the eye hole of a skull, being held in the mouth of a thresher maw, with a naked woman holding a sword on its back. Because I'm hardcore, like Ezo. Jack suggested it.
Remind me to talk to Jack in the morning. Where'd you get the Omni tattoo anyway?
Down in the lower wards, near the bottom.
Yeah, I meant where on your body?
So did I.
I totally get why people want to romanticize all these characters.
It's wonderful. Such a funny exchange. I love it.
We've had more than one fan come up and show us actual tattoos like that. Look like
really?
that.
Oh my God.
Got that
really?
tattoo? Oh man.
That is fantastic. Next couple lines are from Jack.
Been around. Ran with gangs. Wiped out some gangs. Joined a cult. Kept the haircut.
Love it. I love it.
And because I always skip the line I'm supposed to be working on, I'll go back to the one that I was supposed to start with. Turns out, mess with someone's head enough, you can turn a scared little kid into an all-powerful bitch.
Fantastic. Love it. Love it. all losing our minds. The next set is shepherd and trainer interacting. This is a good scene.
Ready whenever you are, Commander.
Samantha.
Don't. If you start, I will burst into tears in the middle of the CIC, and that would be mortifying. Thanks for everything. Even if we don't end up with the house with the white picket fence and the 2 kids. Sorry, stupid joke.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Okay, good, because I wasn't really joking. I want a big house with a white picket fence and a dog, some kind of retriever, perhaps even a cat. I'm thinking 2 kids. But are you writing this down?
I'll remember.
You damn well better. Whatever happens, I love you. Now go save the world again.
Oh, goosebumps on that one, guys. Big nerdy goosebumps.
I added the cat for authenticity. I hope everyone appreciates the cat inclusion.
I love it.
Cool.
It was fantastic, you two. Unbelievable. We have another Joker line in here. I'll throw it in chat right now. This is, we got a lot of suggestions for this one.
Jesus Christ, now that I'm good and choked up, fuck you guys.
Right. That was really good, especially since they both almost actually cried. I don't know if you're watching at home notice that. And Allie's actually crying. You're like, oh, Karen's crying.
Shake it out. Let me just like, USA Caroline, help me here. What am I? Who am I? What's happening?
I think this is a moment that you're bringing everyone together to take over or to challenge the overlord. So you're strong, grounded, and slightly brittle.
Right.
Take your time.
Right. By the way, thanks for that tee up, guys. That was beautiful. Yeah, great. See, this is how it all starts. When we're all just organic batteries, guess who they'll blame? Oh, this is all Joker's fault. What a tool he was. I have to spend all day computing pi because he plugged into the overlord.
I love it. All right, we got a collection of grunt classics next.
Cool. Mark and Jen, will you join me in the second line?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
of course.
All right.
I have to find it.
I'll do the first one first. It's very complicated. Shepherd.
Grunt.
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 I'm just sad Hanar can't wear sweaters. Don't remember anything after I ate the lamp.
Oh wait, there's one I forgot to paste in there. Oh, let me paste it.
Seriously,
paste it.
Thank you, Shepherd.
There we go.
You gave me purpose. Now let's find something big to kill.
Beautiful. All right, so next we have some Legion.
Hey, so I'm going to do something a little different here. You don't need to paste anything because
you're good.
I'm not good at reading right now. But I will. I got one sentence here. You ready? Here we go.
There we go.
7 minutes. Oh, sorry, wrong game. Hang on. Here we go. That was for fans who are watching. So, actually, Tally, could I get you to answer my question? You'll understand. Just answer how you would answer. Are you ready? Here we go. Should this unit get vaccinated?
Orders.
Affirmative.
There we go. Yay. I ended up feeling okay with that Moderna today, by the way.
Yeah, an important public service announcement. Yeah.
I went to free Advil and that's brought it back down. It was getting really kind of weird. So, but you guys are weird as well. So it's hard to say which it was.
We're a weird crew.
We're just such a relative term.
Yes. we're going to go ahead and close out with, we did this one last time, but it's so good. I just had to kind of hear it again. This is Shepard's line.
Shall we share this, Jennifer? Do you want to go back and forth sentence by sentence, or?
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. I love that idea. Okay. Let's see. Who did the last Shepherd? I don't know. We did it together. I'll start. Here we go.
Go ahead.
Maybe you're right.
Maybe we can't win this.
But we'll fight you regardless.
Just like we did Sovereign.
Just like I'm doing now.
However insignificant we may be.
We will fight.
We will sacrifice.
And we will find a way.
That's what humans do.
Yay. So good. Thank you guys so much. Unbelievable. We are almost out of time, but I am going to close it out with one last question. This is for everyone. How do you think Mass Effect will be viewed and received in the next 10 to 20 years? So what do you think the legacy is of this particular game?
I think in the gaming world, it's going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be remembered as a piece of history, a game changer.
Yeah. And I think it sparked some other things that it broke down barriers. It opened the door to all peoples. And I think it's a powerful, powerful community. And I think in a marketplace that often goes, from the AAA stuff for the biggest bottom line, this game went for the biggest soul and the greatest story and the hugest commitment. And I think that's part of why it landed so well.
Wow, really great answer. Anybody else?
So I really think it'll just continue to age really well. That's why this new release is so exciting, because people can discover it at any point. I think all of us that work in any animation or other gaming, sometimes there's a shelf life to things, and sometimes stuff has an opportunity to transcend generations, right? Where you played it, now you can play it with your kids, and then your kids become completely consumed by it. I think Mass Effect has that same opportunity.
I'm just going to trail that. I was thinking the same thing. I think it will actually hold up beautifully. It's evergreen and it's so original. And it's just, there's so much in there for people to even return to and go back to and look at again and look at the history and look at the storylines. It goes very deep. So I think this is something that'll just stick around for a very long time. And I think a lot of new viewership, people will just enjoy it. A new viewership will enjoy it, but I think people will return to it too. It's really, really quite awesome.
It's original but it's also universal. That there will always be prejudice. There will always be love. There will always be, people being disenfranchised, people, fighting to belong, people making sense of their pasts and, bringing it into who they are now. I think the thing that this game did so beautifully was it made space for so many people and what they're dealing with. So it will be evergreen in that you can see yourself somewhere in this game. And I'm very grateful for that.
I think we all are. Well, guys, we are almost out of time. I wanted to thank you sincerely, myself, the whole community. Thanks you guys for taking hours out of your day to do this. Thank you guys for making something that we all really love and cherish that's brought joy to so many people. You guys are all fantastic. I know a lot of the cast are doing signings, so make sure you check on their social statuses, and they'll have links to their signing schedules, and you guys can get stuff signed. That's happening right after this, I think in about a half an hour. So make sure you follow them there, get yourself stuff signed. It has been an honor and a pleasure to talk to all of you guys. I think the world of you. And again, thank you all so much. And I know the community thanks you as well. So you guys have been great.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Ash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It probably can't be overstated. Like, this community is so big and global. It is one of the most powerful fandoms that I've ever been greeted with. And it is such a treat to get to be a part of it. So thanks to everybody that supported it, jumped in with both feet.
It's the most amazing group of fans ever. The kindest, sweetest people. And we're all so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Indeed. And I'd just like to say on behalf of everyone, we should go.
Ole.
That's my favorite on the Citadel.
Well done, Mark.
Thanks, everyone.
Well done.
Appreciate it.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Gonna keep talking.